What if I told you that the piles of papers on the counter, the closet full of clothes you never wear, and even that box of someday items in the garage are quietly stealing something priceless from you? Not just space, but your peace of mind, your safety, and even your freedom to live independently. You see, researchers in 2025 are sounding the alarm. Seniors who live in cluttered homes report higher stress, poorer sleep, and even more frequent trips to the hospital from preventable falls. But here's the good news. Thousands of older Americans are turning the tide, using little-known declutter secrets that don't just clear space, they bring back joy, calm, and confidence. And today, I'm about to share 15 of those exact secrets. These are not the same tired tips you've heard before. These are strategies seniors over 60 swear by, practical methods born from real lives and real struggles. And secret number 7. It's a surprising practice that even professional organizers rarely talk about, but seniors say it completely changed the way they look at their homes. So lean in, because this might just be the most important video you watch this year. And if you're ready to feel lighter, freer, and finally in control of your space, hit that like button right now and subscribe to Elderly Dose, because your golden years deserve to be lived without the weight of clutter holding you back. Let me introduce you to Haroldine Quinn, though everyone in her small Iowa town just calls her Hadtie. At 72, Hadtie is the kind of woman who knows everyone's name at the grocery store. She spent decades as a school bus driver, faithfully picking up kids in the cold Iowa winters and dropping them off safely every afternoon. But when her husband passed away unexpectedly, Hadtie found herself alone in a quiet house that suddenly felt too big and too empty. To fill that silence, she began holding on to everything. Coffee mugs her husband once used, sweaters she never wore but couldn't part with, and even her old school bus driver's logbooks, page after page of routes and schedules from years long gone. Her living room, once a place for family laughter, became a maze of stacked boxes. Her kitchen counters disappeared under piles of unopened mail. And her closet, packed so tightly she sometimes forgot what was inside. It wasn't that Hadtie was lazy or careless. It was that each item felt like a memory, a lifeline to the people and moments she missed most. But over time, the weight of those objects became a different kind of burden, one that made it harder to move around, harder to relax, and harder to breathe. But here's the turning point. Hadtie didn't stay stuck. She began to uncover small, powerful secrets to let go without losing what mattered most. And as she tried each one, her home began to open up, and so did her heart. Secret number 1. The one-shelf miracle. Hattie's transformation didn't begin with an entire room or even a whole closet. It started with something so small most people wouldn't believe it could make a difference, the very top of her refrigerator. For years, it had become a catch-all space. Dusty recipe books, half-empty vitamin bottles, expired spice jars, even an old cookie tin she hadn't opened in a decade. Every time she walked into her kitchen, her eyes caught that pile, and though she didn't always admit it, it made her feel tired before she even started her day. One afternoon, she decided to give herself just 15 minutes. No big plans, no spring cleaning, no overwhelming goals. Just that one shelf. And as she wiped the surface clean and neatly placed only 2 items she truly wanted to keep, a photo of her granddaughter and a jar of honey she used every morning, something shifted. The kitchen felt brighter. Her heart felt lighter. That single clear space whispered a message: you can do this. Psychologists call this the domino effect of micro-wins. When seniors tackle one small area, the sense of control and relief often sparks motivation to continue. Hadtie proved it firsthand. That one shelf didn't just clear a few objects, it opened the door to a ripple of progress throughout her entire home. So here's your challenge: don't start with your garage or attic. Start with one tiny shelf. And when you do, share your victory in the comments, because small wins create big changes. Secret number 2. Memory without the mess. For Hadtie, the hardest part wasn't the random clutter, it was the memories. Every mug, every note, every scrap of paper seemed to hold a piece of her life. She especially struggled with the souvenirs from her years driving the school bus. Stacks of old route maps, attendance sheets, even little drawings kids had left behind on the seats. She couldn't bear to throw them away, yet keeping them stuffed in cupboards made her kitchen feel more like a storage unit than a home. Then Hadtie discovered a gentle solution: Digitizing. One Sunday, her grandson showed her how to use his smartphone camera to take photos of the items. Together, they snapped pictures of her favorite driver logs, the doodles from children, and even the bus stop schedules that reminded her of snowy mornings and waving parents. In less than an hour, she had an entire digital album, neatly stored and easy to share with her family. The magic was this: Hadtie realized she didn't need to keep every paper to keep the story. The photos preserved the memory without the mess, and suddenly her cupboards were free again. This method is growing in popularity among seniors in 2025, as families create memory albums online or on simple USB drives. It doesn't just save space, it makes memories portable, something children and grandchildren can enjoy too. So here's the question: which item in your home could you photograph today and finally let go of the physical weight? Tell us in the comments, because your story could inspire another senior to start fresh. Secret number 3. The 5-minute evening sweep. For years, Hadtie dreaded her evenings. Once the television clicked off and the house grew quiet, the silence felt heavier than the clutter itself. That's when she stumbled into what she now calls her 5-minute sweep. Instead of letting the loneliness sink in, she set a small timer each night and gave herself just 5 minutes to tidy one corner of her home. It wasn't about perfection, it was about rhythm, like brushing your teeth before bed. Some nights, it meant tossing old newspapers into the recycling bin. Other nights, it was as simple as clearing the dining table so it was ready for breakfast in the morning. 5 minutes isn't long, but the impact grew quickly. Hadtie started going to bed with a sense of calm, and she woke up to a home that felt just a little more welcoming each morning. There's a surprising psychological benefit here. Studies show that seniors who establish tiny rituals at night report better sleep quality and lower stress. The act of creating order, even in small doses, sends a message to the brain: you are in control. What's more, this routine helped ease Hattie's loneliness. The act of moving, sorting, and preparing her home became a companion in itself, a nightly check-in that reminded her she was still moving forward. Try it tonight. Pick one surface, set a timer for 5 minutes, and see what shifts in your mood. And let us know in the comments, do you already have a nightly ritual, or will this be your first? Secret number 4, the visitor's eyes trick. One afternoon, Hattie's neighbor stopped by unexpectedly to drop off some fresh-baked bread. As she watched her neighbor squeeze sideways through the narrow hallway, brushing against stacks of coats and boxes, Hadtie felt a flush of embarrassment. In that moment, she realized something powerful. She had stopped seeing her home the way others saw it. That's where the visitor's eyes trick comes in. The idea is simple but transformative. Walk into your home as if you're a guest. Don't head straight to your favorite chair. Pause at the doorway. Look around as though you've never been there before. What stands out? Is it the welcoming light through the curtains? Or is it the pile of magazines that's been there since last Christmas? When Hadtie tried this, she noticed things she had been ignoring for months. Shoes scattered by the front door, an umbrella stand so full it toppled easily, and that hallway jammed with storage bins. No wonder her home felt smaller than it was. It was like an obstacle course for anyone who visited. Psychologists say clutter blindness is real. When we live with piles of stuff long enough, our eyes stop registering the mess. But stepping back, literally, helps break that cycle. For seniors especially, this isn't just about pride. A clear entryway reduces fall risks and makes visitors feel more welcome, encouraging the very connection and community that keep loneliness at bay. So here's your challenge. Tonight, step outside, take a deep breath, and walk back into your home as though you've never seen it before. Then ask yourself, what would a guest notice first? Share it in the comments. You might be surprised by your own answer. Secret number 5. The one-room rescue. When Hadtie thought about decluttering her entire house, the task felt impossible. Every corner whispered of memories, and every pile seemed too heavy to tackle. But then a friend gave her advice that changed everything. Don't start with the whole house. Start with the one room where you most need peace. For Hadtie, that room was her bedroom. She realized it was the place where she began and ended every day, yet it had become the most chaotic. Clothes draped over chairs, unopened mail stacked on the nightstand, and even a laundry basket that had quietly turned into long-term storage. No wonder she struggled to fall asleep. The clutter didn't just take up space, it stole her rest. So she focused only on that room. She folded the clothes, cleared the surfaces, and put away what truly belonged elsewhere. By the time she pulled back the sheets that night, her room felt lighter, calmer, almost like stepping into a cozy retreat instead of a storage closet. That very night, Hadtie slept deeply for the first time in months. And she isn't alone. Sleep specialists say seniors who keep their bedrooms uncluttered report improved rest, lower nighttime anxiety, and even steadier blood pressure. A clear room signals to your brain that it's safe to relax. So here's your challenge. Don't try to fix your whole home at once. Choose one sanctuary room, your bedroom, reading nook, or favorite sitting area, and rescue it first. When you do, you'll discover something remarkable. Peace in one room can spread calm throughout your entire home. Secret number 6. The 2025 Senior Swap Trend. In 2025, a surprising new movement is spreading across retirement communities and local senior centers in the US, swap circles. Instead of tossing unused items or letting them gather dust, seniors gather monthly to exchange what they no longer need for something that brings them joy. It's not about money, it's about connection. And for many, it's the perfect balance between decluttering and giving items a second life. Hadtie first joined a swap circle after her church group invited her to a Saturday meetup. At first, she was nervous. Would anyone really want the mismatched pots and pans she hadn't touched in years? But when she placed them on the table, another woman's face lit up. Her grandson was just moving into his first apartment and needed cookware. In exchange, Hadtie spotted a gently used rocking chair, simple, sturdy, and full of character. The moment she sat in it, she knew it would become her new evening companion. That trade didn't just clear space in her kitchen, it gave Hadtie something she truly valued while blessing another family in return. The experience left her smiling for days, not just because of the chair, but because she walked away feeling connected, useful, and part of something bigger. For seniors, swap circles are more than decluttering tools. They fight loneliness, stretch limited budgets, and create new friendships. Imagine decluttering your home and gaining both a lighter space and a new friend in the process. So here's a thought. Is there something in your home that you're not using but someone else would treasure? Share it in the comments, and maybe, just maybe, you'll inspire a swap of your own. Secret number 7. The empty chair secret. This is the one that surprises nearly everyone. The empty chair secret. At first, it sounds simple, even odd. Always keep one chair in your home clear, uncluttered, and ready for use. But for Hadtie, this chair became more than just furniture. She calls it her friendship chair. After her husband passed, Hadtie slowly began to fill every available surface with stuff. Chairs turned into coat racks, the dining table became a storage unit, and guests had nowhere to sit. Without realizing it, she was closing her door to connection. When her daughter gently suggested clearing just one chair, Hadtie resisted. But eventually, she chose a small wooden chair near her window and promised herself it would remain open. No boxes, no laundry, no stacks of books. Just ready. Something remarkable happened. That empty chair became a symbol of possibility. It reminded her daily that she was never too old for company, that conversations and laughter could still fill her home. And on days when no one visited, Hadtie found herself sitting across from that chair with a cup of tea, imagining what she might say if a friend were there. It gave her comfort, a reminder that she was not forgotten, not invisible. Experts in aging say this simple practice encourages openness to social interaction and helps fight isolation. Two of the biggest challenges seniors face today. The chair isn't just empty, it's an invitation. So here's a challenge for you. Is there a chair in your home right now hidden under clutter? Clear it off tonight. Keep it ready. And let that empty space remind you that your story isn't finished. Someone new may still walk through your door. Secret number 8. Declutter for health. Clutter isn't just an eyesore. For seniors, it can quietly become a health hazard. Studies in 2025 show that older adults living in cluttered spaces are more likely to suffer from falls, higher blood pressure, and even chronic stress. The mess doesn't just sit on your floor or countertop, it lingers in your mind, raising anxiety levels and making your body feel like it's always on alert. Hadtie learned this lesson the hard way. One morning, She nearly tripped over a bag of groceries she had left sitting on her kitchen floor. In that split second, she pictured what could have happened: a broken hip, weeks in the hospital, maybe even losing her independence. That image scared her more than the clutter itself. So she cleared the walkway, moved unused items to storage, and made sure the floor was open and safe. The change was immediate. Not only could she move with confidence, but she also felt calmer cooking her meals without dodging obstacles. Doctors now emphasize the connection between environment and well-being. A clutter-free space lowers stress hormones, helps regulate blood pressure, and even improves sleep. For seniors especially, it reduces the risk of those life-changing falls that can steal freedom in an instant. So here's the takeaway. Decluttering isn't just about creating a prettier home, it's a form of self-care, as important as eating healthy or taking your daily walk. Ask yourself, is there one area in your home where clutter could put your safety at risk? Clear it today, and protect the independence you've worked so hard to keep. Secret number 9. The legacy box. For many seniors, the hardest part of decluttering isn't deciding what to keep for themselves. It's worrying about what will be left behind. We don't just hold on to objects, we hold on to the fear that if they disappear, our stories might vanish too. That's why so many older adults are turning to a simple but powerful practice: creating a legacy box. The idea is straightforward. Choose one box, sturdy and special, and fill it only with items that truly tell your story. For Hadtie, this became a turning point. She selected a cedar chest her husband once built and carefully placed inside his army medals, a few black and white wedding photos, and the handwritten recipes passed down from her mother. Suddenly, instead of drowning in endless piles, Hadtie knew she had preserved the very best of her life in one meaningful place. The beauty of the legacy box is that it transforms decluttering from a process of loss into one of purpose. Instead of feeling like she was throwing away memories, Hadtie felt like she was curating a gift for her children and grandchildren. Something tangible they could treasure, not something they'd feel burdened by. A legacy box also eases a quiet worry many seniors carry: the thought of leaving behind chaos. Instead, you leave behind clarity, love, and heritage. So here's the challenge. Take a single box and begin filling it with the pieces of your story you want remembered. Everything else, let it go with peace, knowing your true legacy is safe. Secret number 10. Tech meets declutter. Technology isn't just for the young anymore. In 2025, it's becoming one of the best allies for seniors who want to simplify their homes and lives. From smart speakers to easy-to-use apps, there are now tools designed to gently guide older adults through the process of staying organized without feeling overwhelmed. For Hadtie, this breakthrough came through her grandson. One Saturday afternoon, he sat down with her Alexa device and programmed a simple declutter timer. At 3 p.m. each day, Alexa chimed in with a cheerful reminder: "It's time to clear just one space, Hadtie." At first, she rolled her eyes, but soon she found herself looking forward to it. The reminders felt like a little nudge from family, even when no one was around. And it's not just timers. Across the US, seniors are discovering apps that let you photograph items and instantly decide whether to donate, sell, or keep them. Others use digital checklists that break big cleaning jobs into bite-sized, doable steps. Some retirement communities are even experimenting with AI-powered virtual organizers that offer encouragement, like a friendly coach in your pocket. For Hadtie, the biggest surprise wasn't just the cleaner home, it was how connected she felt. Her grandson would check in, asking, "Did you clear your spot today, Grandma?" Suddenly, decluttering wasn't a lonely task, but a shared journey. So here's the takeaway. Don't be afraid to let technology lend a hand. A single app, reminder, or voice assistant could be the gentle push that turns good intentions into lasting change. Secret number 11. The 90-day rule. One of the simplest yet most liberating declutter strategies is something Hadtie calls the 90-day rule. The principle is clear: if you haven't used it, reached for it, or even thought about it in the last 90 days, chances are you don't really need it. For seniors, this guideline cuts through the endless second-guessing of "what if I might need it someday?" and replaces it with clarity. For Hadtie, the light bulb moment came when she opened a drawer full of VHS tapes. Some were old movies she'd taped off television in the 80s. Others were home recordings she no longer had the equipment to play. She realized not only had she gone months, even years, without touching them, she didn't even own a VCR anymore. Keeping them was like holding on to a world that no longer existed. With her daughter's help, she digitized a few family recordings and then let the rest go. The drawer that once weighed her down became a space for things she actually used every week. The power of the 90-day rule is that it shifts focus from the past to the present. It asks, is this item serving you now, in this season of your life? If not, release it and make room for what truly matters. Here's a gentle challenge. Walk through your home and pick up one item. Ask yourself honestly, have I used this in the past 90 days? If the answer is no, it might be time to set it free. And remember, letting go doesn't erase the memory. It simply creates space for new ones. Secret number 12. Emotional anchor items. One of the hardest parts of decluttering is the fear of losing yourself in the process. Seniors often ask, if I let this go, will I forget the life I lived? That's why Hadtie discovered a powerful practice she calls her emotional anchors. Instead of trying to hold on to every memento, she chose just 5 items that truly captured the essence of her life story. Her first choice was her old bus driver's cap, a simple navy hat worn soft from decades behind the wheel, carrying generations of kids safely to school. It reminded her not just of her job, but of her purpose and service to the community. Next was her wedding ring, a constant reminder of the love and partnership that shaped most of her adult life. She added her favorite Bible, filled with handwritten notes in the margins, her quiet companion through grief and joy. The last 2 were deeply personal, a locket with her children's baby photos, and a quilt her grandmother stitched by hand. By naming these items her anchors, Hadtie gave herself permission to let the rest go. She didn't need 20 coffee mugs or a closet full of sweaters to remember who she was. These 5 pieces told her story clearly and beautifully. This approach works because it shifts focus from what you're losing to what you're preserving. You're not erasing your past, you're highlighting it. So here's your challenge. If you had to pick 5 objects to represent your life's journey, what would they be? Share one in the comments. You may find that naming your anchors gives you the courage to finally release the rest. Secret number 13. Decluttering as gifting. One of the most beautiful secrets Hadtie uncovered was this. Decluttering doesn't have to feel like losing something, it can feel like giving something. Instead of letting meaningful items sit hidden in boxes, she began passing them on to the people she loved most. This transformed the process from sadness into joy. Her favorite example came from her kitchen. Tucked away in a drawer was an old family cookbook, its pages stained with flour and butter, filled with handwritten notes from decades of meals. Next to recipes were little scribbles, her husband's favorite chili marked with a star, a note that said extra sugar for Christmas cookies, and her children's attempts at doodles along the margins. For years, it had collected dust, too precious to use but too fragile to toss. One Sunday, Hadtie decided to gift it to her granddaughter, who had recently moved into her first apartment. She tied a ribbon around it and wrote a simple note, "These recipes raised a family. May they fill your kitchen with the same love." When her granddaughter opened it, tears welled up in her eyes. That cookbook instantly became more than a pile of paper. It became a bridge between generations. Experts say gifting items while you're still here to see them enjoyed is one of the most fulfilling ways to declutter. It lightens your home, warms your relationships, and ensures your treasures don't end up as burdens later. So here's your invitation. Look around your home today. Is there something meaningful that could bless a child, a neighbor, or a dear friend? Don't wait for someday. Give it now, and watch the joy ripple through your family. Secret number 14. Morning light declutter. Hadtie used to do most of her cleaning in the evenings, after dinner and TV. But she noticed something frustrating. By then, her energy was low, her mood was heavy, and every decision, keep or toss, felt like climbing a mountain. That changed the day she opened her curtains one morning and let the sunlight flood in. With coffee in hand, she picked up a small box of papers sitting by the window and, to her surprise, the choices came easily. What felt impossible at night suddenly felt simple in the morning. There's real science behind this. In 2025, gerontologists point out that seniors often experience sharper focus and better decision-making earlier in the day. when the brain is rested and cortisol levels are more balanced. Natural morning light also reduces stress hormones and increases serotonin, which boosts mood and clarity. In other words, the very time of day you choose to declutter can change your entire experience. For Hadtie, shifting her routine to mornings became a game changer. She no longer dreaded sorting through her belongings. Instead, she turned it into a quiet ritual: open the blinds, breathe in the morning air, and clear just one space while the light poured in. It didn't just free her shelves, it lifted her spirit. So here's a tip you can try tomorrow. Choose one small corner and declutter it before lunch. Notice how much lighter your decisions feel in the glow of natural daylight. And then ask yourself, if the morning light makes it easier, why keep waiting for the night? Secret number 15. The future self-promise. Decluttering isn't just about today, it's about the gift you give your future self. That's why Hadtie created what she calls her future self-promise. On a small piece of paper, she wrote these words: "I declutter now so you can breathe easier tomorrow." Then she taped it to the inside of her closet door, right where she would see it each morning. At first, it seemed almost silly, just a note. But as days turned into weeks, Hadtie realized the power it carried. Every time she felt the temptation to pile clothes on a chair or shove unopened mail into a drawer, that promise stared back at her. It reminded her that the work she did today wasn't a chore, it was an act of kindness for the woman she would be tomorrow. A woman who deserved peace, safety, and freedom in her own home. This small ritual gave Hadtie something clutter had stolen for years: hope. She no longer saw decluttering as punishment or loss, but as a daily choice to lighten her load and prepare for a future where her energy, her independence, and her joy would still be intact. Experts say that seniors who frame decluttering as an act of self-compassion, rather than just cleaning, are far more likely to stick with it. That's because it transforms the task into a form of self-care, as vital as a morning walk or taking your medication. So here's your challenge: write your own promise. Place it somewhere you'll see it often. And remember, you're not just tidying for today, you're creating a home your future self will thank you for. At the end of Hattie's story, one truth shines brighter than any clean shelf or tidy drawer. Decluttering isn't really about throwing things away. It's about creating space. Space for peace, space for health, and most importantly, space for the life you still want to live. Every item Hadtie released made room for something better. Restful nights, safer mornings, unexpected friendships, and a home that finally felt like a sanctuary again. And here's the part that matters most: if Hadtie, at 72, could reclaim her space and her joy, so can you. Decluttering is not about age, it's about choice. It's never too late to decide that your home should serve you, not the other way around. So let me ask you this: did Hattie's journey touch something in your heart today? If it did, don't just nod and move on. Take action. Tap that like button to let us know you're ready for your own fresh start. Hit subscribe so you never miss another life-changing tip we share here on Elderly Dose. And most importantly, share this video with a friend, a sibling, or even your church group. Someone who deserves the same freedom and fresh start Hadtie discovered. And before you go, let me leave you with a little teaser. Our next video will dive into the tiny daily habits that can make seniors feel 10 years younger. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Because remember, the best years of your life aren't behind you. They're waiting, just beyond the clutter.